Hey friends, happy Wednesday. It's so great to be back with you on the very first day of February. If you and I have not met, my name is Emma Lou with Heartfelt Creations. Today you and I are going to learn how to create a multicolored hydrangea and do lots of dimension and add it to a beautiful 5x7 card. I can't wait to share these tips and techniques with you. It is absolutely stunning. It's just a bright, vibrant pop of color. It's like a ray of sunshine in your craft room. So if you have kind of the winter blahs and you need some creative inspiration to lift you up, or maybe you're just looking for your next idea, join me and we'll learn how to create this beautiful one-of-a-kind card together using some vibrant pops of beautiful color. I'm using the Cottage Garden Hydrangea. This is an absolute stunning flower. It's an all-time favorite. Now, if you live in an area where hydrangeas just bloom in abundance and they're like dinner plate size, you are very, very fortunate. I absolutely love the intricacy and beauty and the color combinations you can do with them. If you are watching, let me know where you're watching from, introduce yourselves, and let's just have some fun together creating. And let me know, do you raise hydrangeas in your area? Now, all I can say, I have one lone plant in my landscaping. Some years it gives me one flower, and I am still troubleshooting to see what we can do to make it bloom more. However, I can show you how to make many hydrangeas bloom in your craft room, and they will not wither, they will not die, and you can do so many different color combinations using the inspiration I am showing you today. So the stamp and die set that I am mainly using today is the Cottage Garden Hydrangea. This has your big flower, and then it has two sizes of the little hydrangeas that you are going to mix and match to layer on top of this. I find that I like to use two sizes, so it gives a little bit more depth and dimension when you are creating with the hydrangea. And then this is the Cottage Garden Hydrangea die. Now, there is one thing I want to communicate before we venture on so that you don't miss out. Today, we just added more items into our warehouse clearance section. The Cottage Garden Hydrangea collection is one of those. Now, when we add something to the warehouse clearance section, that means that once those products have gone, they will be gone forever. So you will see the Cottage Garden Hydrangea collection in there, plus some more stamps and dies, decorative dies. So you'll have to go follow the link to see all the inspiration with that. However, I did want to point out one thing. One die that is not in that set in the warehouse clearance is this die, and that is because we have super, super low stock on it. So if you want it, I would pay full price for it and get it because it will run out of stock and then it will be gone forever. So I just wanted to make sure you know that this one is super, super low quantity and that you don't miss out on that, plus all the other items you can get in the warehouse clearance section and save up to 70%. So with that, all our homework is out of the way, so we can get started creating this beautiful, beautiful card. Tell me what you love about it. I love hydrangeas. That is one of my favorite flowers. I mean, it's hard to pick a favorite, but I love the beauty, the color, and just the big dinner plate size hydrangeas. Some of my favorites I've seen were in New Zealand. You guys are absolutely blessed with all the beautiful hydrangeas that you have access to. Okay, so with this, we are going to start with the beautiful background. Now, I kind of contemplated whether I wanted to focus too much on this or not, but I decided I would, just so you get the idea of if you just wanted to use just this flower in all its beauty, you could color it and layer it on a card, stamp your 1 in a million, you'd be done. So you can do some really beautiful basics without adding dimensional flowers. So we'll kind of show you how that looks, and then we'll add the dimensional flowers on top. And you will only see really kind of on the outer edges what we did in the background if you cover it with dimensional flowers. So are you ready to get started? We're going to use 3 of my favorite color combinations: Forget-Me-Not, Manganese Blue, and Cactus Flower for this. So what you'll do to kind of create this ombre effect is you're going to go in and do a couple colors of Forget-Me-Not across the flower, maybe about 6 areas. And then you can go in with a Manganese Blue. That's even a more power color, a little bit darker. And we're just going to go ahead and add about 6 areas. I already did some over in this section. And we might just add a little bit more up here. And then we'll come in with our Cactus Flower and finish that all up. So as you can see, it's a very forgiving color combination. And as you kind of blend those colors together, you kind of have what I call a 4th color of purple pop in there, which I absolutely love. So anytime you are doing kind of a multicolored flower, don't be afraid to really blend it with a bright contrasting color, and you will kind of magically see some other colors kind of pop in from the background. Isn't that just so stunning? I mean, I feel like I could just sit down and spend hours coloring these hydrangeas in many different ways. It's very therapeutic, and actually what's really cool is, say you had kind of a rough day, your brain's kind of fizzing out, as we call it with our 2-year-old, and us as adults have those moments as well, and you want to create something, but you don't really have the brain power to, you know, make a magical super galactic card from start to finish. I highly recommend just sitting down and doing something just very simple and therapeutic like this. And you can lay it aside and then, you know, watch TV while you're doing it. You get really relaxed, and then on a day that you have more brain power and you're like, okay, I have these pieces, you feel inspired, you can then go and add your decorative elements and add it to your finished card. So with this, we're going to go back and color the leaves with the leaf green. This is a beautiful green that I love to use with my hydrangea. So I'm just going to hold that up so you can see. It's a little bit more difficult to color while holding it in the air. I typically do this flat, but I just want you to be able to see that very, very nicely. So like I had mentioned earlier, the Cottage Garden collection has just been added to the warehouse clearance section. As you may or may not know, last year we started doing things a little bit differently and adding things to the warehouse clearance section. So there are more items than just the Cottage Garden that have been added. So you'll want to bounce over there and make sure that you get those items that you don't have once those are gone. They're gone forever, and the items in that section, you'll also save up to 70% depending on how many items you purchase out of that section. So it's really a no-brainer. So we'll go ahead and add some darker touches of green in there to give it a little bit more shading in those leaves, and you are done. The next stage that I like to do is I like to do multicolors of flowers. So here is one that's a little bit more of the cactus flower, and then here's one a little bit more with the forget-me-not and the manganese blue. So if you do kind of different coloring tones on the flowers, it really gives you a very unique look when you're layering these on top of your hydrangea. Tell me if you've done this. I love this technique. So I stamped some of the flowers in cactus flower and some of them in forget-me-not. Okay, so you have 2 different flowers stamped in the background. And then we're going to go ahead and for the flower that's stamped with the cactus flower, that's kind of a tongue twister, the flower that's stamped with the cactus flower. We're going to go ahead and we're going to color some of this flower with that, and then we're going to add some manganese blue. I do not know if I pronounced that correctly. If I don't, please forgive me. Who knows what that color is really called. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead, add that bright pop of color and flip it around, cover that background because you will see it when you are layering it to your card. Then we'll flip around, do this one. I am going to do one side with the manganese blue, and we'll add some of the forget-me-not. I'm going a little bit lighter on this one because the manganese blue is a power color and you want to not do too heavy on that. And then the forget-me-not, we'll go back and just add a little bit of color in there. If you wanted to go back and add a little bit more of, say, the manganese blue around some of those edges, you could totally do that and just have some fun kind of making an ombre colored effect with it and just have some fun customizing those to what you love. Flip that around and you can go ahead and color the back. You can make the back any color you want. Now, what makes this easy peasy lemon squeezy is this shaping mold. If you don't have it yet, I recommend getting it. It is designed to work with the hydrangeas. However, you'll see that this is a little bit more of a neutral flower. So if you have other small flowers, you can shape them in here as well. Let's see, I only have 2 to shape today. Let's get my little water mister. You can do up to 2 layers at a time on this if you wanted to. So we're just going to give it a little mist. Pop the lid on top, and we'll run this through our machine, popping it between 2 of our plates. If you haven't done this before and you're concerned about dye compatibility with a shaping mold, what you can do is just go to our website and look at that shaping mold compatibility list. It goes through most machines that have a 3/4 or more opening. So we're going to go ahead, bring this out, and what I love is you have all these flowers shaped so beautifully and quickly within a matter of minutes. So just imagine how that would be to have that all filled up. Next step, we're just going to go ahead and I do like to do one thing with this. Bring out your deluxe flower shaping kit with your mat, and oops, crash in my drawer. We're going to go ahead with our stylus. Now, here's what I like to do. I like to make a double cushion and just press down in the center, and that gives you a really nice dimensional flower. Now, you can make as much or as little dimension as you want with that, but that's what I do with that. It's just a quick pop in the middle, and you are good to go. Next step is going to be using our card base. So I cut a 5x7 card base, layered it with a beautiful cottage garden paper collection. This paper collection, I just want to tell you, it is in the warehouse clearance section, so you get up to 70% discount on it. But if you've seen this paper collection in person, you know how stunning it is. So I highly recommend that you stock up on it. This is a paper collection that has a lot of blues and greens, and I'll show you that at the end. But I use it all the time. Like, I constantly, there's a couple papers in there that I just reach for constantly. So I absolutely love it. It's a personal favorite of mine, and you can tell that. But if it's a favorite of yours, I would highly stock up on that. I don't want you to miss out, because that is a consumable, and I think sometimes it's easy to forget that. We have this internal joke with our team here that do we have first dib at this skid of paper when it's being retired? So we'll get started making this card, and then I'll show you the papers at the very end. So I'm going to go ahead and just give that a little bit of glue. Now, before we add that hydrangea, I'm just going to lay it down so I can kind of see where I want to have my sentiment. And I'm going to show you how you can do an ombre coloring technique on your sentiment. So I'm going to start with the Forget Me Not, and we're going to pretty much just ink the top. If you go on to the million on the bottom, you can, that's okay. It's totally okay. You will rather want to do more ink than too little. And then I'm using the manganese blue and just highlighting the million, so that's the darker color. And so this sentiment will say, you are 1 in a million. And we are just, I'm going to move this aside again so we can get a beautiful clean stamped image here. Just give that some firm, even pressure. And you have that beautiful stamp. I mean, that always gives such a crisp, clean sentiment image. I absolutely love that. And you can kind of twist this leaf around, so you don't have to really be concerned about that. But that your 1 in a million actually comes in this set. This set has a small hydrangea in it, so if you like to do smaller cards, super, super pretty. You can see it here with all the dimension. Now, obviously, you can do it more of a flat flower too, but it's beautiful on your 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card. And then you have even a smaller one, and then these little birdies. Those little birdies are the most adorable little things. You can see them here, or you'll also see them with the window. I'll show you the window then as well. That's also one of the items that is being put in the warehouse clearance and retiring. So with this one, we're going to go ahead and unleash our little foam dots on the back. We're going to glue this down, and then all that we need to do is just go ahead and add our little dimensional flowers to the top. So what I love about this card is it is a very simple yet stunning, beautiful card to create, and it still looks like you spent so much time doing it. So you can kind of twist that stem around to however you want to. You could even put a butterfly, you could put a ribbon on that stem. You have lots of option. And you could also do like a double. You could do 2 of these side by side if you wanted to, depending on the card size you are creating. So hopefully that gives you some inspiration on different ways that you can create with it. Okay, so I'm going to bring these over here so I can grab them from this side. I'll bring my hot glue gun up. I personally love using a hot glue gun. It will make that your flowers stick very quickly, and you can continue moving on. I like to use a little handy dandy tweezers, and you can just add your glue, pop that into position, and you can just kind of hold that and release it. I don't like to spend too much time thinking about it. I just put a dot of glue on the back and just add my next flower. So I don't really spend a lot of time thinking about color, thinking about how I'm going to position it. I really just try my best to trust the process, that as it all comes together, you can add nestle more flowers in if you need to, and they will all come together very beautifully. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just continue. Repeat the above until you have the entire flower covered. So we won't cover the entire flower today, but I just wanted to give you the basics that you can continue until that is all done. So we might just do like 1/2 of the flower, and so you can see how the 1/2 looks as it goes to the edge and all that good stuff. So here's one that's a little bit teeny tiny. So I might lay that in more on this side right here. Okay, so you can see how that just beautifully pops right in there. I'll just hold this a little bit and we can get a little bit close up look of that so that you can see the dimension. I know it's a little bit hard to see with all the lights and the cameras, all the things. So tell me, we have already completed the first month of 2023, which is crazy to think about. It just flew by. But I wanted to know, have you created some projects, or are you still kind of thinking about it, needing some motivation to get yourself started? And just a little inside information, we have a super fun event coming up for you. We wanted to do something special for you on Valentine's Day. So on Valentine's Day, we're going to have a fun event where there's going to be all of our online educators are going to be doing videos throughout the day. So it's going to be a fun event to inspire you, bring you all sorts of creativity. It's art from the heart. Some of it's kind of love and Valentine's theme. Theme will have some behind the scenes. So mark your calendar for the 14th. There will be some fun. If you already have something planned where you're like, oh my gosh, that sounds fun, but I can't be there, you will be able to go back and watch the records, but it's fun if you can watch live. So you can maybe block that day out as a fun day just for you. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just continue that. Isn't that so pretty? Oftentimes people will ask me, well, how many flowers do you use? Hey, it really depends on each flower. So I always just like to make sure that I have at least 30 on hand so that I don't have to skimp and I have what I need when I am doing mine at home. So that is my top tip, is just make a bunch. Say like that day that you just kind of feel like you're in a creative slump, don't know what to create, just make a bunch of these flowers in different colors that you love, different colors you know that your friends will love receiving, and then you can get started adding them to the hydrangeas as you have time. Love, love, love that. So you'll just continue that until that's finished. I am going to show you how to do the little pearls in the center. Some of the pearl colors we have individually, and then some of them we have in packs. This one that I'm using is called Blue Suede Shoes. I felt like that color was kind of a dark pop for the center. So since I have a lot of flowers that I want to have the pearls in, I will just use the driest clear glue because that doesn't have any stringy effect when I'm pulling away, and it's pretty quick and easy to just add those little dots of glue right to the center of those flowers, sprinkle the pearls over the top, and you very quickly have the centers embellished. Now I do this after the flowers are on so that I don't have to fiddle-faddle around with them when they're loose because they are such a teeny tiny flower. So that's a time-saving tip for you, so you can see those centers there. One thing, in case you haven't known about this, but we have a section on our website that has some of our top favorite glitter and pearl colors that we have in bulk. So if you have some colors that you love, check that section out and see if there are some colors in there that you'd like to load up on. So we have some in bulk. I just thought about that. Sometimes I remember to tell you that. Other times I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot about it. Those are just available while supplies last. So there are some crystal clear, all that fun stuff in there as well. So that's how you do it. And once that's completed, you have these beautiful dimensional flowers all ready to give to a friend. Or if you're like me, sometimes I just set it in my craft room to use it as inspiration, and once I'm ready, I will give it away, which I absolutely love. So this is just a very stunning way to get those multicolors into your hydrangea, multicolors into your stamped image. Do you love that? I love that tip. And then using those beautiful background papers to anchor it in and create that beautiful one-of-a-kind card. So before I go, I want to show you the paper collection and some beautiful samples in the front. Oh my gosh, which one do I do first? Okay, so I'm going to show this. So this one, I love how it's a very similar concept to what I just did, except this is on a tag. There's a decorative frame on the background and different color combination, and still using those blue suede prills, so you'll see that these actually show up even a little bit more. Here's one that is using a decorative frame, but look at this one done with foam. So this is a beautiful way to just quickly cut them out of foam, color them in a light green, pop a stamen in the center, and you have those beautiful flowers very easily. That window that I was talking about, that is also in our warehouse clearance section, where you have new items that just got added today. Once those are gone, they're gone forever. And this is one of them as well. This is the cottage window in hydrangea. This one is an amazing, amazing scene builder. So you have this window, and then you have this little teeny tiny hydrangeas. Now I love it to anchor the window in the top and the bottom, but these little guys are super beautiful paired in other ways behind arrangements and stuff like that. So you'll see that used in here and then down here with the birdies, which is really pretty. Let's see. It's hard to know which one to show you first. This one, super beautiful as well. This is a lot more dimensional. Use the base of your hydrangea and then cut out 2 to 3 circles that kind of are smaller and inset from each other, and that kind of gives you a raised pillow, so you can kind of do this round effect. If you need a link to a video with that, let us know. We can find that for you. Here's another beautiful way to use different color combinations using the leaf green, manganese blue, and just look at all the glitter on there. That's the crystal clear, the chunky glitter. It just elevates it and takes it to a whole new level when you do that. Here are those little birdies again that we had taken a peek at earlier with those sprays on the top. So lots of beautiful ways. Like you can also just do like little hydrangea clusters on a card as well. So you can do large to small. You can use it on card center openings. So the possibilities with these are absolutely endless. Now, we are going to take a look at the paper collection. So this is one of your favorites. I highly recommend stockpiling on this one. So you have beautiful fronts and backs of these. I know that's backwards. Actually, you know what? We'll flip through from this side, and then we'll turn it around and flip through on the back. So you have these little place cards. I absolutely love those. Stamp a sentiment, add some embellishments, and you have a quick card, or you can use them for scrapbooking. And this scene is idyllic. I actually typically what I do is I cut it in like fourths, and I'll use it that way. So lots of variations. Here are some images you can just die cut out, along with these as well. Here's some more card front panels you can use, and then followed by this 6x6 and your beautiful, stunning tags. Then for the background, ta-da! You've got beautiful neutrals patterns that you can use with the focal points. So as you can see, this paper collection is one that is just a sweetheart. I love creating with this one. Okay, so look at that. So pretty. There we have another, what I call an idyllic garden scene. I want to live there, create there, right? So hopefully this inspires you to create your own one-of-a-kind projects using the Hydrangea collection. If you don't have it yet, this is your chance to get it. We've just added to the warehouse clearance savings, where you save up to 70% on all the items in that section. We've added these plus many more. So I want to make sure you check that out. Once those are going forever. I'm happy creating. I can't wait to see who's going to be one of the first ones to share their projects with us right here on Facebook on what inspired you to create after you've seen this video. Thank you so much for joining me today. We'll see you next time. Bye.